Good morning student. This is our second video of lesson 2 Feathered Friend. Student, as we have read that the author and his friend Sven Olsen were on space station, and also narrator found a bird Claribel there. It was actually a surprise for him. Now to continue. She was a small yellow canary hanging in the air as motionless as a hummingbird, and with much less effort, for her wings were quietly folded along her side. So it was a small yellow canary which was hanging in the air as a motionless hummingbird, and bird means it was too small and motionless and had much less effort she was using on her wing to fold them along her sides. We stared at each other for a minute. So they were looking at each other. Then, before I had quite recovered my wits, so they were looking at each other, surprising at each other. The narrator got his intelligence, and it was a shock for him a bird was on space station. She did a curious kind of backward loop on earthbound canary had ever managed, and departed with a Leslie Fricks. She took there a curious kind of backward loop. Backward loop means a curved move, as no earthbound canary, earthbound means connected with the earth, managed to take and depart. Depart means to leave the place, like her, with leisurely flicks. Leisurely flicks means easily moves. It means she took there a curious kind of backward loop, as no earthbound canary managed to take and depart like her with easily moves. It was quite obvious that she had already learned how to operate in the absence of gravity and did not believe in doing unnecessary work. So it was obvious that she had learned how to be in the space in the absence of gravity on space station. As you know, there is less gravity there, and did not believe in doing unnecessary work, and she was optimist also to do the unnecessary work. Sven did not confess to her ownership for several days, but Sven didn't admit that it was his bird for several days, and by that time it no longer mattered because Claribel was a journal pet, and by that time it was not a part of worry because it was a journal pet. He had smuggled her up on the last ferry from Earth. When he came back from leave, partly he claimed out of sheer scientific curiosity. Actually, later he agreed that he had smuggled her on the last ferry regarding his scientific curiosity. When he was on his last ferry, he came back to leave. He took that bird, he smuggled that bird on space station just for his scientific curiosity. He wanted to see just how a bird would operate when it had no weight but could still use its wings. Actually, he wanted to know how can a bird operate in the space station as it has no weight and could still move its wings there or not. Claribel thrived and grew healthy. Despite all these things, Claribel means a bird was growing well. On the whole, we had little trouble concealing our unauthorized guests when VIPs from Earth came visiting. Even the crew members didn't have any problem, but they were worried toward the VIP guests which came there to visit. A space station has more hiding places than you can count. There were many hiding places. The only problem was that Claribel got rather noisy when she was upset. The problem was that the bird became noisy when she felt something wrong. we sometimes had to think fast or explain the curious peeps, so they had to think to make false excuses to explain the curious people regarding the sound and whistles that came from ventilating shafts and storage bulk huts. So whistles that actually came from ventilating shafts and storage bulk huts means walls that divide inside of an aircraft where they had the bird. There were a couple of narrow escapes, but then who would dream of looking for a canary in space station? According to the narrative, there were couple of excuses, means false excuses, lame excuses, you can say. They can give their many lame excuses there regarding the sound, but not to that person who could think about a canary in a space station, because means if in a person's mind come the thought that there is any canary in the space station, they didn't have any excuse to give him. So this is our today video. Thank you.